I will be showing you today how to saddle and put a bit in your horse's mouth. But first things first, I must point out the white elephant in the room. This is a horseshoe. I know you're all looking at this, right? Probably not. It's probably the saddle. But I wanted to pass this around. Most people probably don't know or realize that this is actually put on a horse's foot for comfort. So any dirt or rocks. It's kind of like our shoe. If we walk around for so long, it just gets uncomfortable. So that's what this is. So I'm going to pass this around. You can touch it. You can look at it. Whatever. That's actually from this horse that I was working with. It's not my horse, but first things I wanted to talk about is comfort. It's all about making sure your horse, your animal is comfortable. Because if your animal's comfortable, you'll be comfortable because you probably are less likely to get bucked off, to get thrown around. So first, I like to talk to my animal. What if I just came up to you and was like, here, you need to do this, and I'm going to hop on you, and we're just going to go for it. But it would be better if I was like, hey, you think you can do me a favor? I'll give you a treat, it'll be nice. That's a much better place. So what I did first was I petted the horse, I talked to the horse. Because whether or not they may understand what you're saying, they understand your tone and your body language. And so the horse kissed me, and it was beautiful, so I put that up there. But I'm going to show you. First thing I did was, how can I play this? That would be good. Ooh. I don't know what I just did.
Take your time, it's okay.
While she's doing that, I am going to show you the blanket. This blanket helps. First of all, saddles are expensive. This one was probably around, I think about $300 to $400. It's a Western saddle. It's built for endurance, like chasing cattle. I grew up on a farm. Not really grew up. I was in foster care on a farm for about 3 years. Rode horses, worked cattle, chickens, but that has nothing to do with anything at this point. But this is what we used, because while we are on the horse and we might be chasing something, it's good to have the horn. That's what this is. It's a horn. And you hold on to that for stability. Western riding horses, we use the type of rein is one-handed, whereas English, they put the rein. This is a rein. Now, this is the bit, and it goes into the horse's mouth, like so. In English, while riding an English-style horse, because it's style, it's for presentation, they ride it like this. And the type of saddle is nicer. It's flatter. It's actually, you're close to the horse's back. You don't have as much padding. And so you ride like this in separate hands. While when you're on a Western riding horse out on the farm, you're going to have one hand right here and one hand on the saddle. And so when you ride the horse, you're just going to use one hand, and the horse will know this is tighter on this side of its neck. It's going to turn that way. While this side of the neck is going to turn that way. So I don't know if this is going to work, but if it doesn't, that's okay. Backup plan. But we're going to wait and see, because I think it's important to see how to put a saddle on the horse. It's easier to explain, because you can't just put the saddle anywhere. It has a sweet spot. The sweet spot on the horse is like the shoulder. The shoulder blade goes about right here and lines up with this. It might look like it's too far up, but if it's good, when you wrap this around, if the armpit is about a hand width away from this string, because this is the goal width, and that'll be right on the shoulder blade. And so this will be about, from the shoulder blade, it will be about right here from the armpit. So it's not pinching, because you don't want your horse to get upset and pinch you or kick you off. So, if you remember, horn, gullet, and this, I call it front strap. The horses that we had, we also had a flank strap because I find it's more stable. Because I jumped, like I didn't get on a stool and get on the horse. I just grabbed the hood of this, put my foot in the stirrup, and hopped on. And getting my big butt on there, had to be stable because I didn't want to yank that thing off. Just go through there. So, comfort and then a saddle. As you'll see, if this shows up, the last picture is a English saddle because the horse that I was actually putting this on is an English, like has been ridden with the English saddle. So he wasn't quite used to this. And so I tried to get on the horse with this saddle, and he did not like it. In the picture, his ears are back because it was just not comfortable for him because it's so much heavier. The weight is actually balanced more, and I was farther off of his back, and so it didn't feel as stable. And this, he's not used to the roughness of this. And you also have a different blanket. Now, going back to the blanket, I didn't fold it twice, but normally I do, just to show that the blanket is important, that you want it to be there. Thank you. So, how this works, I'm going to show you. Put this on here, make sure it's in the sweet spot of the horse. And you will be my horse stable, and I will call you Squishy. Okay, this is the stirrup. You ain't got to do anything with that. This is what you attach to it, right there. And it may, when you're tightening it up, because this is what you use to tighten it up, when you're tightening it up, it may feel like it's hurting the horse, but it shouldn't. It's not. And most horses, they'll breathe out or breathe in, whichever one makes you blow out, like makes your belly bigger. That's what horses do because they know you're going to squish them. And so then when you hop up on the horse, it's loose because then they start breathing normally again. And then you might move it and you might fall off. So you want to make sure it's nice and tight so it doesn't fall off, so you don't fall off. But that's pretty much how you put a saddle on. It's really simple. All it is like putting a belt on, really. It's like putting a belt on your pants. You just wrap it around and pull it tight. I think the hardest part is finding where it's supposed to go. Just, what do you do? I apologize. I don't know why it's doing that, but it's not working, so that's okay. But you got the gist of it. It's just like putting on a belt. The bit. I had so much trouble with this horse about the bit. Because the bit that it was used to is an English style bit. This is true to the saddle. It's a Western one. It's not bendy. Now imagine having something like this in your mouth. Ouch. So it has to be, they fit them to the horse's mouth. The horse that I was working with had a dinky type head. It was really small. Its mouth was really small. But you can't just shove this into any horse's mouth. It's got to be the proper size. But what you do is, I'm going to be the horse, okay? Unless someone else wants to volunteer to be my horse. Don't worry, I washed it. But you put, the curvature goes on to the face. And you put your hands like that, so when you're going towards the horse's mouth, you can put your fingers underneath the gums and open up their teeth. So you go like this, and your horse will probably try and move to get away from it because I don't know, I wouldn't like someone doing this to me. But, you know, put it in the mouth. More like this. And this is the crown. You first put the bit in, and then these two straps will go behind the ears. If I can get this on. This first strap will go behind the ears, because the ears are on top, and the crown will go like that. And then this, you'll strap this on as tight as you can, but not like choking tight, but as tight enough where they won't try and take it off. And then, before you hop on, move the reins over the horse's head, grab the horn, or however you plan on getting on a stool, and hop on. But make sure after you get off the horse, take it all off, and don't just get off the horse and then walk away and leave the horse alone. You need to pet the horse. You need to talk to him saying, oh, you're doing a good job, this is, you know, you have to give him a treat. Don't just leave him all alone. And that is pretty much how you take care of and saddle and ride a horse. I wanted to leave you with this quote. The horse, with beauty unsurpassed, strength immeasurable, and grace unlike any other, still remains humble enough to carry man upon his back. Thank you.
So you can call on a couple of people, Jessica.
Yes?
I like how you had a backup turn. So I would not have you grab a food or something.
I like how you have a lot of demonstration. You just kind of didn't like point to it and say this is this and this is that. You kind of like actually like used the table as a horse and just actually kind of like went through the steps like you would normally, which I really liked.
How often do you ride a horse?
Well, when I was in Kansas, I rode about every day. One of my greatest pleasures is riding a horse, and not just riding a horse, but being in their life. Like, they are beautiful creatures, and they have an attitude just like we do. They can be rough and territorial, and what's mine is mine, or they can be like, oh, I love you, like a little puppy, and be like, oh, I love you, I want to see you. Because my horses in Kansas, they run up, as soon as they saw me coming, they'd run up to the gate. But here, I've only ridden one once. This woman named Joanne, she let me borrow her things, so this is actually not my own. I didn't ship it from Kansas. But yeah, that is how often. I'd love to ride more often if given the opportunity. Yes?
I like how you like put an emphasis on actually taking care of the horses, because usually when I think of riding horses, I don't really see people put much of an emphasis on that.
Yeah.
I like how you ended with that quote there.
Do you plan on riding in college?
I don't know, like as a sport?
Yeah, because my cousin goes to Hobart and she rides horses there, like for school.
That's a hard thing. I don't know, because I don't know if I'll have the time or the money as a college student. I know that would probably be an expensive sport to do. But I just love it. I love the animal itself. So it's not necessarily the riding part that I really, really love. I love that too. But being with the animal's awesome. I encourage all of you, if you can ride a horse or, you know, see a horse in real life and pet one, I encourage you to do so. It's a beautiful creature. Yes?
Can I just say that this demonstration made me miss riding so much, because I used to ride when I was younger and do all this, and I stopped and I don't want to do it again. So thank you.
Yes?
Yeah, I think that I wrote this down on your sheet, but I'll say it out loud for everyone, that one of the toughest things for any presenter is when the stuff that you planned so carefully behind the scenes doesn't come through, right? And I know that feeling, you're like, oh man, right? But you were able to shift and adjust well enough that we didn't really need, I think we got everything you wanted us to, even though your video didn't come through. Right, and probably I would imagine that if you can get it to work and you brought it in on a different day because you worked so hard on it, we'd all be just as happy to see it then.
Okay.
Right, so I think that it spoke to your ability to shift and adjust And that's what a really solid presenter is able to do. So don't feel funny that that little piece didn't go the way you wanted.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Well, thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed being a part of my culture, where I came from in Kansas. And if you guys have any questions after class about, anything in that area, I would love to talk to you. So thank you.